It's gonna be one of those days. So, recently an event or an incident happened in Marvel Strike Force, and people were talking about left, right, and center. And after having a chat with the leader of my new alliance, 007, I currently recently moved to the We Proud Few. So farewell to all my previous alliances. I'm in the We Proud Few now, and we had a discussion about this. And I told him about my experiences, similar experiences to the whole, debacle. And he said, you should make a video talking about it. And after a few days of planning and writing and thinking, because I've never done this before, so I've decided to make an episode about it dedicated to the Marvel Strike Force and all gamers around the world. And the video first is, so this video is gonna first break into 4 parts. The first part is my experience with racism myself and with, discrimination. The second part will be streamers and YouTubers, wake up. Third part would be comic book fans and MCU fans or Marvel Strike Force fans, comic book fans in general, and a message towards them. And 4 solutions or recommendations. So excuse the footage, is pre-recorded. It's me blitzing, and you can see this my teams. I'm going from the weakest to the strongest. This is how I do my blitz. And these are the recommended teams that I am growing and in order. So yeah, so while you're watching the gameplay, listen to this message. So I've experienced racism as early as around 10 years old. I've had literally kids from my neighborhood stop being friends with me because they found out that my mom is a mixed Emirati, so which is called a Aimi. And that is actually a racial slur for over 1,000 years, even mentioned in the Quran. So that's my earliest. Second was when I used to go clubbing and all my Caucasian friends would be walking for free. And then me, and there was like another South African tan guy, colored, and the security would stop us, the bouncer would stop us and say, you have to pay 100 dirhams. That's like almost $30, $25. And all my other, even my Caucasian friends will stand there and going, is like, why aren't you charging our friends? Why aren't you charging us? They're like, no, well, they give so many different excuses. I've been randomly selected for a bomb check in Madrid 3 times in an hour. Literally one time before when they check your baggage, when they screen your baggage, the second time right after that, and the third time I winded up walking with a group, and there was me and an African guy, and we were both randomly selected. And that was the 3rd time in an hour, and I couldn't stop laughing at how, my luck. Being an Arab and being a gamer and being an LGBTQ member and being heavily tattooed in a culture that does not accept it, it's just ridiculous. The amount of, hate that I get towards me. What do you call it? I've had, when I used to be really into heavy metal and, black metal and stuff, and I'd have black nail polish and eyeliner. And one time this guy grabbed my hand while we were walking into a bar. Complete stranger grabbed my hand. He was an older British gentleman. And I was like in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s. And he grabbed my hand and he goes, men don't wear makeup and, nail polish. And I laughed because first I told him I'm an Arab, my dad's an islander. And in our culture, the men do wear eyeliner. It's called kohel. And he just looked at me. I'm like, yeah, you didn't know that, did you? Yeah, our warriors wear eyeliner until today. And in Finland, in Provinci Rock, so big shout out to all the Finns, love you all. Provinci Rock, amazing rock festival, it's like Woodstock style. 2016, I believe I was there. And I got jumped by random neo-Nazis. I kid you not. I got jumped, I got punched, and as I, shook my head, and I'm gonna, defend myself, these random guys that I was just hanging out with an hour ago, they didn't have a reason to stand up for me because I didn't know them. I'm not their friend. They jumped in for me and started beating the hell out of them. And when I asked why, and their main guy was a big Santa Claus looking guy, and I used to call him Metalhead Santa Claus. And then he goes, "Don't worry, they are a dying breed. We do not support them. They make us look bad." And I was like, "Thank you." I felt love there. So that's my experience. So I know racism and discrimination pretty well. And there's more. There's more stories. So now I'm going to move to the second part of this video. And it's streamers and YouTubers who need to wake up. So if you think about it, streamers and YouTubers are their own celebrities in their own world. and we're part of that world. And they are miniature versions of Hollywood. A lot of them they wind up going into Hollywood movies, and a lot of them do become singers and rappers and officially whatever artists, because content creators are artists end of the day. And think of it like this: if people that have a reach to billions, like they're known by billions, compared to a YouTuber or streamer who's known to millions, cannot get away with a negative tweet. Marvel Cinematic Universe directors got in issues for that. Famous comedians got in trouble for that. You know, actors that, you know, tweeted negatively 10 years ago, those tweets came back to haunt them today. Because times change, and businesses change, and everything changes. You need to accept change. You cannot not accept change. And I think that's a big part of racism and discrimination, because you're refusing to accept change, or accepting different things. So if those people can't tweet those negative comments without being witch hunted, what as a person with a few million on YouTube makes them think or believe that they can? You can't either. You know, if they can't, you can't. Think, it's logic. Nothing on this planet makes you better than another human being. It doesn't matter how many followers you have, how many viewers you have, doesn't matter what skin color you have, doesn't matter what religion you have, doesn't matter where you're born. I am no better than a poor, whatever race or age group, whatever, in a different country, or in my country, or better than a man with a different religion. Nothing makes you better. You are all the same. We're all human beings, end of the day. The only reason I think you can hate on someone is if they're being hateful. But even hateful people can be retaught with compassion. I'll get back to that in solutions. So, streamers and YouTubers, you need to be very careful to what you've got to say on stream, on live. Public speaking, it's called. You know, you cannot say negative things. You'll get flack for it. You can talk. You know, I've seen a streamer who talked about that video that got the other streamer in trouble, and he made some comments that I actually laughed. You know, I actually found some of them funny. That's the same kind of humor that I would joke with a friend, not complete strangers online. Literally, people, think about it. When you go somewhere public, can you go to a public bar or a restaurant or a cafe and sit there and start shouting racist comments and homophobic comments and not expect people to approach you eventually and say, yo, you can't say that's not cool, or maybe even somebody punches you? It's gonna happen, because I've done it. I've sat there and I've heard people talk negatively about other nationalities or my nationality or my religion, and I'll be like, yo, that's not cool, man. You gotta deal with me if you're gonna continue that way. Happened several times. And but they call me social justice barbarian, by the way. Like, you know, in my D&D groups, they call me social justice barbarian. I like to stand for what's right. So I believe that this video is to what's right needs to be done. These messages need to be set out to my 10 viewers. So sad but true. I drink coffee out of sadness. Tastes like my view count. So you can't get away with stuff like that online. People are gonna hound you and find you. And if you can, the same way you joke with your friends, you cannot joke that way online. Wake up, Bubble. Wake up. You can't do that. You know, I make my content as friendly as possible, because I have kids that come down and watch my Pokemon battles. Because I play Pokemon Go and I do PvP, and I've got some kids that, you know, and I'm like, and some of these kids I know them in person. And also my godson plays Pokemon Go PvP, and I want to be a good example to these kids. You can have fun, you can be awesome, you can be king of the world, but you don't need to be a douche nozzle. You don't need to be rude or vulgar or homophobic or racist. You know, just have fun. As long as you're not hurting anybody, nobody's allowed to hurt you. So let's go to the third topic. The third topic is comic book fans, MCU fans. This is dedicated to the gamers. And literally, it's a coincidence. on the 7th of June, a guy on Facebook called Kenny Boyle made a Facebook status, and he got shared by one of my friends, or it went through a circle of people, and then I saw it and I had to share it, and it has a very strong message, and I literally, the date that I shared is the 8th of June, and the message goes, X-Men is about civil rights. If you didn't get that, you didn't get X-Men. Seriously, you can't call yourself an X-Men fan and what they fight for if you're a racist or homophobe or discriminatory type of any type. Black Panther is about civil rights. If you didn't get it, that you didn't get Black Panther. You can't say I don't support Black Lives Matter if you don't support and if you're a Black Panther fan, because that's exactly what they are. The same. Captain America literally fought Nazis. He's the embodiment of fighting the alt-right. If you didn't get that, you didn't get Captain America. Legit, you cannot wear a Captain America t-shirt if you are racist in any type. The Empire in Star Wars is fascist. The Rebel Alliance are anti-fascist. If you didn't get that, you didn't get Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I even got the Sith coat tattooed because I believe in strength. You need to be strong to survive the world. You need to be, just be confident, proud, and sitting and idle and doing nothing just makes you weak. I believe in that, but I don't believe in the fascist government. I don't believe that. So, some people are gonna get offended by this. Deadpool is queer. He's pansexual. Fact. If you didn't get that, you didn't get Deadpool. So you can't be a Deadpool fan and a fan of Ryan Reynolds if you're a homophobe. Star Trek is about equality for all genders, races, and sexualities. As early as the mid-60s, it was taking a pro-choice stance and defending women's right to choose. One of the clearest themes is accepting differences, different cultures and appearances, and working together for peace. It's also anti-capitalist and pro-vegan. If you didn't get that, you didn't get Star Trek. Literally, I'm not a Star Trek fan, but I always knew that Star Trek was very advanced and modern for its time. There's a lot of messages in it. I was like, that's really cool. There's the world is a better place and mankind is just out there to improve itself. And it just shows beautiful cultures. That's what I like about Star Trek. Superman and Supergirl and a whole host of other superheroes are immigrants. The stance of those comics is pro-immigration and pro-equality and acceptance. If you didn't get that, you didn't get Superman or Supergirl. So if you're a fan of Smallville or a fan of Superman and Supergirl, but you're against immigrants coming to your country, I got a message for you. You did not understand Superman or Supergirl or any of those kind of heroes. Stan Lee, the man, Excelsior, said, racism and bigotry are among the deadliest social ills plaguing the world today. If you're bigoted or racist, you didn't get any of the characters Stan Lee created. So that means don't you dare pick up a Marvel comic and call yourself a Marvel fan if you are a racist or a bigot or a homophobe in any way. Sorry, flat out, I don't see you as a comic book fan. If you're upset that there's a black Spider-Man or a black Captain America or a female Thor, which actually I knew people that got offended by female Thor, and I had to tell them, yo, female Thor is in the comic book. Big deal. And what's wrong if a girl cosplays Thor as well? My wife's best friend cosplayed female Thor. My wife cosplayed Loki. And nobody complained about that, but hey, you'll complain about the MCU version. Oh. Or that Miss Marvel is Muslim, or that Captain Marvel was pro-feminism. By the way, I've met the creator of Miss Marvel. She grew up in Dubai. She's really chilled. Or that Captain Marvel was pro-feminism, or any of the other things right-wing fans say is stealing their childhood. You never got it in the first place. The things you claim are now pandering to the lefties were never on your side to begin with. See, I don't care about right or left. I see both have their strong points and their weak points. And I'm not American. Like, we don't have left or right in my country. I believe in an awesome monarchy. Best guy ever. And which is true. That's a really strong message. If you are a fan of something and you don't understand it, how can you call yourself a fan? It's just so stupid. It baffles me. You cannot be these things and be hateful. If you consider yourself a fan of these things, but you still think the LGBTQ plus community is too in your face, or have a problem with Black Lives Matter, or want to take the country back from immigrants, then you're not really a fan at all. I love this guy. I don't know who this guy is, Kenny Boyle, but I love him. Geek culture isn't suddenly left-wing. It always was. Well, that's, I don't know. I don't even understand left-wing, right-wing. You just grew up to be intolerant. You became the villain in the stories you used to love, and I love that message. And he's got how many shares? 50. He's on 58,000 shares right now. I'm not kidding. He's on 58,000 shares right now, and I'm gonna share it, after this on my Facebook. So I'm gonna, what do you call it? To have you share it as well, and it's just amazing. People need to understand these things. And it baffles me that you don't understand that. People that are, the Punisher. There's also the Punisher part. I can't believe I went past that. The Punisher isn't meant to be a role model for police or armed forces. So much so that the writers of the Punisher made him actively speak against it in a comic. If you didn't get that, you didn't get the Punisher. My dad was a cop, and not just any cop, really high ranking, and a personal guard for big people, and I'm baffled that people used the Punisher as an example. The police were using him as I was like, no, he's a bad example. He is an example that the police force or the law system is faulty, and it needs an improvement. A perfect world will be a world where we don't need the Punisher. A perfect world is where we don't need riots because somebody was killed by a police officer. A great world is where police officers are trained properly and they are singled out and suffer the consequences of their actions like any other civilian. Human being there. Law applies to both. And I can't believe that some people use the Punisher as an example. That's like saying, I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian like the Joker who eventually shot somebody on stage. So yeah, you don't want to be that. So yeah, that's my message to the MCU fans. And I've had the first few alliances that I joined in Marvel Strike Force were racist towards me. A guy called me, a terrorist, and the leaders and the captains stood up for me. And thank you to those leaders and captains. And I wish you all the best. You guys are awesome people. And if you see something wrong, stand up for it. Quietly, loudly, but be respectful. And I think that's the most important thing. Now for solutions. Listen guys, I don't have solutions or recommendations. All I know is I live in Dubai, UAE, and it is, though it has its own faults, but we learn, we improve. We have certain things that we're really good at. Other than Ferrari police cars. Like, why not? Because, which is needed. Because you get a lot of rich people coming here and they drive cars that are faster than police cars and they think they can get away. So when you're driving your Maserati thinking, I'm gonna get away from the cops, yo, I'm gangster, and then you get chased by a cop in a Ferrari. It's really funny. I've met amazing people around the world. I've met, members of the LGBTQ, members of Black Lives Matters, members of everything under the sky. I am personally friends with Jews in Sweden, and I hang out with them. They're really awesome. And a lot of people saying, oh, Muslims and Jews can't be friends. They can be. Just throw hate away, and everybody can be awesome with each other. And but the one thing that I find very strange, that a lot of these countries with these problems are called United Kingdoms, United Nations, European Union, United States of America, or whatever. But they're not united. Every state or city has its own criminal laws, standards, and it baffles me. In my city, all criminal law is the same. In the capital, in the other cities, and all the other cities, they're all the same. There is no differences. So if you commit a crime there, you get the same sentence and punishment if you commit a crime over there. And it's illegal to do that in that state or that city. It's illegal, and that's what I think is the issue. And also our cops, they take very heavy training, and they can actually. There's also a punishment in our police force called abuse of power, and that is a great system, and that's why I love my country, because I can literally, the only thing that I have to fear when I'm driving is, that I'm indicating so I don't get fined, or I'm wearing my seatbelt so I don't get fined, that I'm driving properly as per the law so I don't get fined for it, or in the speed limit. And I think that's the only time we should be, worried about the cops, is when you break the law, and that is reasonable because you're breaking the law. But you shouldn't be afraid to be killed for a $20 forged bill. I kid you not, and that broke my heart to bits. And I cannot accept that. You know, in my country, it is illegal to call someone the F word, the FAG word for homosexuality, because it's considered slander and a racial slur, or, you know, discriminatory slur. Where I walked in Toronto, Church Street, and some random straight person called me an FAG. And I was like, what? I don't even swing that way. It's like, what's going on? And I've met Ruby Rose. Really cool. Here's a photo of me and her. So I'm going to show off, you know? And I've met some other celebrities growing up. And that's my solution. You have to be unified. You need to stick to your name. My recommendation solution is stick. You can have, and throw away pride. Humility is the greatest thing that can help a human being become stronger and better, and pride can stop you from growing, can stop you from understanding things, can stop you from becoming a better person. That means the moment that you think you're better than another human being, that's pride, and that's the moment where you fall. You can be the smartest person in the world, the prettiest person in the world, but if you refuse to understand the poor person in front of you, or the unfortunate person in front of you, and you think you're better than them, you're not. You're not. So let's keep Marvel Strike Force friendly. Let's keep it welcoming to new players. It's a great game. The only thing I think we should fix is get rid of those stupid paywalls. I kid you not. I will pay $60 full copy of this game on the PlayStation if you somehow fix this. You need to grow. Because literally, Riot Games is releasing League of Legends Wild Rift, and apparently it's for console as well. So Marvel Strike Force, I think that's a good direction to go. It's just expensive, like $30 just to get a character. It's like, wow. So yeah, so I wish you all a happy good day. I wish you all the best and lots of love. And if you like my video, please share it, leave a comment, subscribe, all the cheesy stuff. And if you don't, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. So yeah, share the love, guys. It's all about being awesome gamers, geeks, pop cultures. And if you have any other content you want me to cover, I'm always up for recommendations. So yeah, so I'll catch you later. See you in the flip side. And oh yeah, forgot about this. You can't hate on Arabs and be an MCU fan. I can't believe I forgot this. Because right before Disney bought Marvel for 4.5 billion or something, an investment company in my city, Dubai, an Arab guy, invested into Marvel, which helped them what they need to kick off. Look it up. I'm not joking. In fact, the guy who funded them, the investment group that funded them, they have the set from the movie itself, where all the suits are standing, what do you call it, in their store. And the store is called Comic Cave. It's in Dubai. Literally, they have, so literally, you can't hate on Arabs and be racist towards Arabs, because we actually funded Marvel and Iron Man, which kicked off the MCU. So,